It can happen in a blink of an eye. One second you're riding smooth, the next you're sliding across asphalt. Most riders think crashes are bad luck, but they're not random. We analyzed 189 real crashes, and almost every single one followed the same mistakes. Mistakes that happened well before impact. Mistakes you could directly control. Today we break down the clear warning signs, simple habits that flat out stop crashes, not theory, real-world data that could literally save your life. We did not approach this like entertainment. There was no slow motion, no drama, no interest in shock value. This was treated as a serious investigation. Each incident was taken apart carefully and methodically. Speed at entry, line selection, rider posture, throttle timing, visual attention. Most importantly, what unfolded several critical seconds before contact, not the moment metal met pavement. Then we stripped the emotion completely out of it. No assigning fault, no storytelling, just behavior and outcome. That is when a strange and unexpected thing happened. Once crashes stop being viewed as single moments and start being examined as chains of decisions, repetition becomes impossible to ignore. Different riders, different motorcycles, different roads, yet the breakdowns followed the same familiar paths. Experience did not grant immunity, neither did environment. Tight corners, open straights, street riding, closed courses, the setup before loss of control kept looking exactly the same. That was the true turning point. This was not a collection of isolated errors. It was a clear map of habits. Across 189 real crashes, the data did not scatter. It clustered, not around dozens of variables, around five. Five recurring breakdowns in control that appeared again and again, long before anything felt urgent. Here is the uncomfortable truth. None of them feel dangerous while they are happening. They feel reasonable, familiar, sometimes even correct, which is why so many riders see themselves in the footage. Because sooner or later, every rider has made at least one of these choices without realizing what it was setting in motion. This is not opinion. It is pure pattern recognition, and once patterns become clearly visible, crashes stop feeling random. They start feeling inevitable. This pattern recognition was just the beginning, because across every crash, different riders, different roads, one mistake stood taller than the rest, and without question, that is exactly where we have to start, with the habit that quietly dismantles control before anything else even has a chance. And if, as you're hearing this, you're already thinking, yeah, I've seen that happen, or that could have been me, hit the like button, drop a quick hype in the comments, and subscribe. That tells us you're here for real-world riding lessons, not highlight clips. Because once we move past patterns and into specifics, the first mistake, choosing speed over control, explains why control disappears so early for so many riders. Speed feels reasonable. It feels like progress, like proof that you are settling in, smoothing out, finally riding the way you are supposed to. Most riders do not rush toward it. They ease into it, staying with friends, flowing with traffic, carrying a little more pace through corners they know by heart. Nothing about it feels reckless. It feels deserved. But beneath nearly every crash we studied, the same thread kept surfacing. Speed does not simply magnify mistakes, it removes margin. Each added mile per hour steals time, space compresses, lines tighten, the window for traction management shrinks, and the most costly loss is invisible until it is gone. Flexibility. Once something unexpected appears, a tightening curve, loose gravel, sudden braking ahead, panic arrives instantly. Not because the rider lacks talent, because the speed already consumed it. This is where borrowed confidence gets exposed. Everything feels fine until control is required. Then inputs rush. Vision collapses inward. The motorcycle stops responding the way it did seconds earlier. That is how pace quietly builds the conditions for failure. There is also a subtle identity trap at work. Riders convince themselves they are improving because the numbers feel higher. Progress becomes measured by velocity instead of accuracy. Momentum gets mistaken for mastery, but control is not proven by how fast you arrive. It is revealed by how calmly you adapt. Here is the reset. Stop using speed as your benchmark for growth. Stop increasing pace to match others or to justify progress. Instead, ride at a tempo where you can brake deliberately, steer with intent, and alter your plan mid-corner without tension. Focus on clean lines, sense available grip. Let exits develop naturally rather than forcing entries. Reframe the goal. You are not riding to be quicker. You are riding to be capable. Speed without control is obvious once you see it, but what makes it truly dangerous is how it quietly sets up the next mistake. Poor corner entry decisions, which looks safe, feels responsible, and yet has been hiding in plain sight through countless crashes. Have you ever felt completely in control while riding, only for a corner or unexpected patch of road to suddenly expose that your speed had quietly stolen your margin? Drop a comment and tell us what happened. Was it traction, late braking, or that borrowed confidence catching up? Sharing your story helps other riders see the same patterns before it happens to them, and it gives us a real sense of what riders face out there. Poor corner entry almost always begins with the right mindset. Riders roll off early. They set their speed. They aim for what feels calm and conservative. On the surface, it looks responsible. Then false logic takes over. By committing too soon, braking early, turning early, choosing a line before the corner has revealed itself, riders quietly spend their flexibility. Once lean angle enters the equation, alternatives disappear rapidly. A small choice turns into a narrowing corridor. Sight lines shorten, space compresses. The motorcycle feels heavier and less willing. At that point, you are no longer directing the situation. You are responding to it. This pattern appeared again and again in the crash footage. Riders arrived at the corner already short on margin, not because they were charging in, but because they treated entry as preparation for the turn instead of preparation for everything that followed. The sequence was consistent. Early commitment reduces usable space. Reduced space limits what you can see. Limited vision forces hurried control inputs. That is how grip gets overwhelmed. Context matters here. Closed courses reward lines built for efficiency. Public roads demand lines that protect options. The objective is not touching an apex. It is preserving an escape when conditions change. Here is where correction begins. Practice disciplined entries. Stay upright longer. Complete more braking before asking the tire to corner. Let the turn develop after your eyes have gathered information. Shift to space-first thinking. Choose approaches that protect vision and exit adaptability rather than chasing tidy arcs. Stay aware of what only the street introduces: oncoming vehicles, changing pavement, corners that tighten without warning. On every approach, ask one question: do I still have choices, or did I spend them before the corner even started? Because once lean angle is added, margin evaporates quickly. And that is where the next lesson, mismanaging traction, shows itself. The one that determines whether grip remains available or quietly slips away beneath you. Traction behaves like a budget. Every tire has a finite amount to spend. Braking draws from it. Lean angle draws from it. Acceleration draws from it. Ask for too much in too many directions at once, and the balance disappears. That is where crashes begin. What stood out in the data was not riders suddenly losing grip. It was riders entering corners already overextended. Speed carried in from the first mistake reduces reserve. Early commitment from the second adds lean before the chassis is settled. Then, at the exact moment traction is most limited, habit takes control. The throttle comes on, not aggressively, automatically. Riders roll it open because it feels stabilizing, because that is what they have practiced, because they want the corner to be finished. But if the timing is wrong, if lean angle is still significant, that small input quietly pushes the tire past its capacity. The loss does not arrive with drama. At first it feels vague, a softness, a slight disconnect. The motorcycle stops feeling anchored to the surface. That is the warning, and most riders only recognize it after the fact. This mistake is not a single action. It is a sequence. Pace carried in, lean added early, drive applied too soon. Each step seems harmless on its own. Together, they empty the account. Here is how to reverse it. Smoothness is non-negotiable. Every brake release, steering input, and throttle roll must be intentional and progressive. Respect timing. Complete more of your slowing while upright. Begin accelerating only as the motorcycle stands back up. Develop lean awareness. If the bike is still heavily angled, grip is already being spent. That is not the moment to demand more. Ask yourself one question. Am I asking the tire to turn, slow, and drive at the same time? Or am I giving it a single, clear task? Grip rarely vanishes without warning. It is usually invited. And when it starts to fade, the next instinct often makes matters worse. Because control is not only about traction, it is also about where the bike is headed. If you've ever felt the bike start to drift under you, even slightly, right as you tried to accelerate out of a corner, pause for a second and hit like. Then share in the comments how you handled it. Did you roll off, scrub speed, or push anyway? Talking through these moments not only helps the community learn, it also shows us you want more breakdowns like this. Lessons that turn split-second mistakes into safe control. Direction control is where physics collides with human instinct. A motorcycle will only turn as tightly as its speed allows. Carry more speed and the bike demands a wider path. Reduce speed and tighter lines become available. That relationship is fixed. It does not adapt to confidence, experience, or intention. And in the crash data, this disconnect showed up constantly. Riders entered corners, carrying speed their chosen line could not support. As the bike began drifting wide, instinct stepped in. Grip tightened, movements became abrupt. Instead of guiding the motorcycle, riders tried to rescue it. That is the moment control quietly disappears. Once reactions replace decisions, inputs arrive late, steering becomes hesitant, throttle use turns automatic, and the bike stops responding the way the rider expects, not because it is unstable, but because it is no longer being directed. The motorcycle does not need saving. It needs clarity. This mistake is not about ability. It is about intention. Many riders allow corners to unfold first, then respond. Directional control works the other way around. The rider must decide early how the bike will move, and then support that decision all the way through. Action zone. Practice steering with intent. Apply deliberate countersteer and commit to the path you choose. Do not drift into corners hoping they work themselves out. Build patience with speed. If the bike refuses to turn, adding lean rarely solves the problem. Reducing speed almost always does. Slow first, then steer. Use subtle correction tools. Increased steering pressure tightens your line. A gentle reduction in throttle allows the bike to settle and come back toward the inside. These are refinements, not panic moves. Ask yourself mid-corner, am I directing this motorcycle or am I reacting to it? When riders stay calm, direction becomes manageable again. When urgency takes over, space vanishes quickly. But even with perfect inputs and sound decisions, there is one system that overrides everything else. One failure that dismantles control before the hands ever move. And it does not start in the bike. It starts in where the rider is looking. Ineffective vision and target fixation. Target fixation is not a riding defect. It is human wiring doing exactly what it was designed to do. When the brain senses danger, attention locks onto it. A guardrail, an oncoming vehicle, the edge of the pavement, vision narrows, breathing tightens, awareness collapses down to a single point. That is the panic loop beginning. Eyes stop scanning, muscles tense, time feels compressed, and once visual movement stops, the motorcycle follows the eyes. This pattern appeared again and again throughout the crashes we reviewed. Not because riders were careless or unskilled, but because stress hijacks attention before conscious thought has a chance to intervene. The moment uncertainty enters the picture, riders stare at the threat instead of searching for space. And in that instant, control fades without warning. What makes this mistake especially dangerous is how fast it unfolds. There is no warning pause, no internal debate, no time to think it through. That is why so many riders say afterward, I do not know why I went there. The eyes made the decision first. Action zone. Create an awareness trigger. The instant you feel tension, building in your shoulders, arms, or chest, assume your vision has narrowed. Move your eyes with purpose. Turn your head and look through the corner. Look toward open pavement. Look toward where you want the motorcycle to go, not at what you are trying to avoid. Interrupt the loop. Use a simple verbal cue if needed. Saying eyes up can be enough to break fixation and restore decision time. Ask yourself in the moment, where am I looking right now? Is it opening options or closing them? This mistake does not require months of practice to correct. It requires seconds of awareness. Vision can be redirected mid-corner. Lines can change instantly. Space returns the moment your eyes start searching again. Target fixation feels powerful, even overwhelming, but it is also one of the fastest habits to undo. And when it releases its grip, control comes back just as quickly, setting up the final lesson that ties everything together. And before we wrap this up, if this video has helped you see riding mistakes earlier, not after they hurt, click like. And if you want to support the channel even more and get early access to upcoming breakdowns, becoming a member makes a real difference. When we step back from all 189 crashes, one truth stood out. None began at impact. They began with routine, small, repeatable choices quietly spending margin. That is why crashes are predictable and preventable, because control is not luck or speed. It is skill, built daily. And once you see that, riding changes forever. Every crash we studied started the same way, not with impact, but with a routine, a habit, a moment where control quietly slipped away. If this video made you more aware of what happens before things go wrong, click the next video and continue the road trip, because the next lesson focuses on how body position can either stabilize chaos or multiply it. Join the tribe by subscribing. If you want to support the channel and get early access to new videos, become a member. And do not forget to like this video. It tells the algorithm this lesson deserves to be seen.